Being a room attendant, guys, sometimes it comes with being disrespected, being looked down on. Because I remember I was working at this specific hotel and I was cleaning. I was doing some stayovers because, especially during the week, you have to do stayovers. And I think I cleaned that room about 3 times. And when the guest was checking out, guests are accusing me of stealing something in the room. Said sometimes when they are leaving, they're checking out, they need discount. Said I remember this specific guest. I cleaned that room so lovely. And when the guests checked in with their family, they find fault. So they went downstairs and they said, told like the receptionist that they saw blood on the sheet. And I was saying to myself, I cleaned that room, I changed all my sheets and everything. Said when I go back to the room, guys, I was feeling a little bit down, and then I'm saying to myself, supervisor came and said, tomorrow, I know we check that room. Said sometimes when they are leaving, sometimes when they are checking in, because I remember this guest again, when they checked in as a couple, and when they checked in and everything, they said they saw food in the drawers, in where they store their clothes, guys, in the drawer. And I was just laughing to myself, and I said I cleaned that room, but sometimes they want a discount, but they won't ask for it because people is just like that, guy said. And sometimes when I'm cleaning stayovers and stuff, sometimes when I did a good job, the guests would tip me. And sometimes when they're checking out, sometimes they leave a note saying, yes, I appreciate your cleanliness and everything. And sometimes even if I get tip, guys, the tip do not matter to me. It's what they wrote on a piece of paper and said, yes, I appreciate your cleanliness or the way you treated me. And sometimes I remember this specific, my coworker. I came in the morning and I saw her sitting down at the couch, like in the lobby area. And I saw her and I said, good morning. And she did not answer. And I'm saying to myself, sometimes when you're working with different races in these first world countries, it's not easy. Because I remember when I was training this specific race, and every rock that I touch, she keep on changing it. Said I go to my supervisor and I said, you need to remove this girl because I don't want to train her anymore. Why? Why would you think that you're better than people because another race is training you and you think that that race is lower than you? We have to cut that out. We have to cut out racism because sometimes even when I'm dealing with guests, guys, speaking with guests, and sometimes I see a little racism, but sometimes you have to smoke shit in your pipe because guess what? You come to work, you have to pay the bills every month and stuff. Said sometimes, plenty times before I even leave for work, I always pray because I do not know what I'm gonna encounter with. Because sometimes we as housekeepers, sometimes we've been overworked sometimes, especially when it's summertime, guys. Sometimes you have to be working 6 days in the week. You have to work 6 days and get one day off. But sometimes when you work in the summer, you make that money, guys. I'm not lying, you make that money. Said sometimes sometimes people just look down on you. Sometimes you're being looked down on your job. And sometimes going to work and you have to be cleaning 6 checkouts. It's not easy. Sometimes I go into a room and when I saw that mess, plenty times, guys, I want to quit. But when I look back, I said, yes, I have to help my husband. We have to pay the bills. We have to keep a roof over our heads. Said sometimes managers can be disrespectful, supervisor can be disrespectful, but sometimes even my job that I quit last year, sometimes when I look back and see, oh, I work so hard and when time for me to make money, so I'm being sabotaged. Said I just had enough and said enough is enough, and I just walk away. So sometimes you have to be dealing with supervisor, manager. You have to be dealing with guests, the guests. Yeah, sometimes some of the guests they are nice guys. Sometimes they really appreciate you. You're cleaning for them and stuff. And so being a room attendant, guys, you have to you have to sometimes you have to have a thick skin. You have to have a thick skin, guys, because I have worked about 3 hotels since I came to Canada. And I hope like next year I will be able to go and work back even part time or full time into a hotel as a room attendant. And I remember my daughters when they were going they were going high school and they wanted like summer jobs, and they were going around and dropping resumes and going online, and they could not get any jobs. And I said, I'm gonna ask my manager, I'm gonna ask my supervisor, and they said, let them come. And I trained them, and they work for a couple of weeks, and they work good money too, guys. Said sometimes I look back, especially at my first job. I really worked that job because, and I really learned my craft there. Yes, my first experience being a room attendant. Said, yes, guys, sometimes it's just a job. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do to put the food on the table and pay your bills and take care of your kids and go back to school. Yeah, you can save money and go back to school, because when I was working at that first job, a lot of girls come and they work part time and they go back to school. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and leave a comment on this video and subscribe, and just have a wonderful day. Bye.